She's running late.
Good evening, everybody. Before we get started, Samantha Roach from Faith Family Church is going to open us with a word of prayer, then we'll have flag salute and then carry on.
Well, just so you know, I've come here to make sure that these guys are behaving themselves. But since I have to leave as soon as I finish praying, you guys will have the job. Okay? Father God, we just come before you in the name of Jesus. Your word says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth liberally and upbraideth not. We are asking you to give the council wisdom as to the directions and the decisions that have to be made concerning this El Reno and this area. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Join with me in a flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I'm having to leave, so you guys make sure that you behave, okay? See you guys later.
All right, it is 5:31 to call the El Reno Air Park Authority regular meeting on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 to order with a roll call vote starting with Trustee Black.
Here.
Vice Chairman Jensen.
Here.
Trustee Stapperfin.
Here.
Trustee Nethery. Chairman Schaefer.
Here. C, nomination and appointment of two members, excuse me, for a 3-year term set to expire June 28 to serve on the El Reno Air Park Advisory Board.
I'd nominate Justin Dill and Jerry Fletcher.
I'll second that.
Okay. Got any others that those two have been on and put in apps to go back on? So we will have a roll call vote starting with Trustee Black.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jensen.
Yes.
Trustee Stapperfin.
Yes.
Chairman Schaefer.
Yes. Okay, item D, consent agenda. Following items considered to be routine by the El Reno Air Park Authority will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. We have items 1, 2, 3.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote starting Trustee Black.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jensen.
Yes.
Trustee Stapperfin.
Yes.
Chairman Schaefer.
Yes. No items pulled. Brings to adjournment. Move to adjourn. Motion made.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Two knocks. It's 5:33, and I call the El Reno Recreational Authority regular meeting to order. Roll call starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Chairman Black.
Here.
Trustee Jensen.
Here.
Trustee Nethery. Chairman Stapperfin.
Here. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. I only have 2 items in that, so
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
motion made and seconded. All those, roll call vote starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black.
Yes.
Trustee Jensen.
Yes.
Chairman Stapperfin.
Yes. No items were pulled, so that moves us to item number
Move
F.
to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
It's now 5:34, and I call the El Reno Municipal Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 to order. Roll call starting with Trustee Stepperfind.
Here.
Vice Chairman Black.
Here.
Trustee Schaefer.
Here.
Chairman Jensen.
Here.
Trustee Nethery.
Brings us to item B, consent agenda. Following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Municipal Authority will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from consent agenda and considered separately. Of items 1 through 4.
Move to approve items 1 through 4 of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with trustee Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black?
Yes.
Trustee Stapleton?
Yes.
Chairman Jensen?
Yes. No items were pulled. Brings us to item F. Discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding resolution number 25-038, a resolution establishing fees and costs charged by the city of El Reno and El Reno Municipal Authority for El Reno services.
So this is our annual review and adjustment for our fees for water, sewer, and trash. We discussed this at our budget workshop, and we discussed it at our renewal of our trash contract with OEMA. We will now have a curbside bulk pickup twice annually. The cost of that will be reflected on the utility bills at a rate of $2 increase per month per bill for trash. And then we needed to make about a 7% adjustment for our water and sewer fees. So the base rate will be adjusted $1.68 for water and $1.68 for sewer to the base rate. And so this will also be discussed later in the meeting, or in the council meeting rather, on our business type activities and with our audit and our performance discussion. So.
Any questions?
Motion to approve item number 5. Resolution number 25-038, establishing fees and charges by the city of El Reno.
One important note, the trash fee will go into effect July 1, 2025, and the water and sewer increases will take effect January 2026.
Good, same motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote starting with trustee Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black?
Yes.
Trustee Stapleton?
Yes.
Chairman Jensen?
Yes. Brings us to adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. It's now 5:37. I call the El Reno City Council regular meeting of Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 to order. Roll call starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Black?
Here.
Councilman Stapleton?
Here.
Councilman Nethery? Mayor Jensen?
Here. Brings us to item C, nominations and appointments. Number 1, nomination and appointment of 2 members for a 3-year term set to expire June 2028 to serve on the El Reno Library Board. Any nominations?
Yes. Nominate Colton Lott and Mary Hunt.
Second?
Second. Any other nominations? We have a motion made, nomination and second to appoint Colton Lott and Mary Hunt. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 2, nomination and appointment of 1 member for the remainder of a 3-year term set to expire June 2026. On accommodations, and 1 member of 3-year term set to expire June 2028. Meetings and events, attractions, and 1 member for a 3-year term set to expire June 2028. Community at large to serve on the El Reno Convention and Visitors Bureau. Do we have any nominations?
Nominate Sarah Ward and Vicky Proctor. Vicky for the at-large and Sarah Ward for the meeting and events and indoor attractions.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Okay. Brings us to item 3, nomination and appointment of 2 members for a 3-year term set to expire on June 2028. 2 members to serve the remainder of a three-year term set to expire June 2027. One member to serve the remainder of a three-year term set to expire June 2026 on the El Reno Parks and Recreation Board. Any nominations?
I would nominate Tom Lloyd for the three-year term since his is a renewal. I'd also nominate Garrett Wright for, we've got another three-year term. And then, we've got Amy Graham as we have this remaining of the remaining terms.
Okay.
2 years left on that.
Yeah. I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stopperfin?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us to awards and proclamations. I'm gonna want to proclaim June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth Day. We've got a retirement recognition. Karen's not here, so we'll do that at a later date. So, anyway. Brings us to consent agenda. Following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno City Council and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda, considered separately. We have items 1 through 15.
Motion to pull item number 10
Okay,
and send it back to Planning Commission.
okay. Motion made and seconded to pull number 10. Do we need to vote on that? We'll just pull 10? Okay.
Pull number 10 and consider and approve the other.
Yeah, approve 1 through 9 and 11 through
Okay.
15.
Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stopperfin?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 10 was pulled to be sent back to the Planning Commission, so that brings us to audience participation. Anyone do we need to vote? I think so. Okay.
Have a discussion on number 10. Yeah,
Okay.
we just pulled it, so we have to consider it
Okay,
separately.
all right. Do we have a motion to send it to Planning Commission?
Yeah, make a motion to send item number 10 back to Planning Commission.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stopperfin?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Now we get to H, audience participation. Anyone have an item of business to present to the City Council that does not appear on the agenda, please come to the podium at this time, state your name. You're requested to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Any item being presented must pertain to City of El Reno business. Oklahoma Open Meetings Act prohibits City Council from taking official action on requests made during this portion of the agenda unless otherwise noted on the agenda. Anyone? Okay. Let's go on to discussion items. Number 16, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding presentation of the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024 annual financial statements, independent auditor's report, and single audit report. Jake.
Thank you, Mayor. You guys can hear me. So we have 2 reports that are in front of you. We have the financial statement audit report, which is the bound copy, and then we have the statement copy, which is the single audit report. As far as the financial statement audit report, things went very well. You do have a clean opinion. We have no audit adjustments that we are proposing as it relates to that. The Yellow Book report and the Uniform Guidance report are contained within this document. We did have one finding this year. Tim and his team are already taking a very proactive action on that. And I expect that to be resolved by the end of 2026. It's just relating to the purchasing process, and I do believe that Tim and his team will handle that very well. The Uniform Guidance, we audited the ARPA funds. was no findings, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies related to the ARPA funding. That's a pretty rare thing to happen. The ARPA funding is a little bit challenging. It's the reporting on it especially, and Tim and his team did a great job. So if you have any questions, I can answer those now. That's about as much detail as I need to go in because it's mainly no news.
Good.
That's good. No news is good news.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Steve, could we back up 1 minute?
We're gonna finish item 16, then we'll back up, Mr. Farley. Actually, we're gonna go on to 17. Discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible minutes regarding presentation of the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024 annual performance tour.
Thank you, Mayor. Apologize, knocked that chair out of whack, stubbed my toe. I'm Frank Crawford. On behalf of Crawford & Associates, we help the city prepare their annual financial statements that Jake just talked about. Now that the audit is done and it's well over 100 pages long, I know in the past we talked about maybe coming up with a way to try to understand how the results of that looked. And so you should have in front of you a copy of the Performator, which very simply takes those audited financial statements and tries to wrap it up and answer a single question, which is, how are we doing on a scale of 1 to 10 financially? Are we good shape, bad shape? 10 being excellent financial health and success, and a 0 being terrible. As you can see on page 5, we scored a 7.6, which is up from our score of 7.1 the year before. 7.6, again, from a perspective scale, the highest any government I've seen in 25 years score on this model is a 9.1. It's only happened 4 times in 25 years, and it only happens to 2 different governments that happen to score it twice. So there isn't really a government that exists that could score a 10 all the way across the board, nor is there a government that could score a 0. So a 7.6 is actually a really good score for the overall financial health and success of the city, and an improvement from where we were in the prior year. On slide 5 and page 5, you can kind of see on the right side that overall score of 7.6 is made up of 3 individual components. There's a health component that we call financial position, where we scored an 8.1. There's a performance component of that position that scores how we did financially over the 12-month period that was the beginning of July 1, 23 through June 30, 24. We scored a 7.4 there. And then on the third component, which we call financial capability, that's really more like, do we have the ability to sustain this operation over a period of time? We'd like to see that score just above a 5. That score doesn't change very much. Last year, you were almost a 7 there also, so that capability score doesn't really change. So it's really about those first 2 scores, the health and the performance scores, that we're looking at really combined to make that. The way this is done, there's about 17 different financial statement ratios that we've plucked out of the group of ratios that are available for us to choose from in order to benchmark and score. We picked the 17 that we thought are most important to Oklahoma governments, but we found out that governments across the United States and literally across the world like this model, and this model is now being used by hundreds of governments across both the U.S. and the world, and it's taught in college and university textbooks even. It wasn't designed that way. We designed this just to be something that we could talk to local Oklahoma governments about, but it's kind of taken a life of its own. So the model does have some credibility out there. I want to point to a couple of slides that I want to draw your attention to, maybe 1 slide or 1 or 2 slides in each one of these components. The first one I'll look at is on slide 9, where we talk about carryover or general fund reserve. The general fund is the main fund of the town and the city. It's where we run most all of our tax revenue through, and where we pay the bulk of our employees and our general government type expenses. Every year we like to see there be some carryover in that fund. In other words, that we don't spend that fund to 0, so that next year when we carry that over, there's always money for cash flow purposes, for one-time emergencies, for unexpected needs that we can fund out of our reserves. We measure that as a percentage of your total revenue. And so we like that number to be at least 10% of your annual revenue. Your number is at 31%, meaning that you've got 3 times that minimum amount that we like to see there. That scores you a 10 on the score, as you can kind of see in the bottom right corner. Every slide has a score in the bottom right corner that's either yellow, green, or red. Yellow means it's okay, green means it's great, red means maybe not so good. So if you wanted a quick look at each slide, you can kind of see where those scores are. That one's a good one. The other one I want to talk to you about is further down the line on page 21. In fact, you just addressed part of this concern with the utility rate adjustments that you just approved in the municipal authority. This slide measures what I call the business type self-sufficiency, your business type activities, mainly utilities, golf, airport, anything that you're charging a fee for in order to try to recover the cost of operations. We like to see that for every $1 in expense that it costs you to provide those services, that you're charging at least $1 back in order to generate that revenue. Right now, we're at 77 cents to the dollar, which means that we spend $1, we collect 77 cents. And that's because some of our rates are not structured to where they're paying for their cost of services. I kind of looked a little bit earlier just to see exactly where that was. It's our rec authority, which is part of our reason, because our entire park and rec department is over there in that fund. It has now been moved back to the general fund, I understand, going forward. So that's gonna address a little bit of that deficiency. But the other one I just noticed was the sewer. The wastewater expenses far exceed the amount of wastewater revenue that we're generating, and that causes an overall drop of all that total. So I'm hoping that the water and wastewater rates that you just approved to the base will kind of affect that a little bit also. But we want to make sure that for each and every individual business type activity that we kind of look at those rates every year, that we make sure that we're not losing a lot of money in providing those services, because the more we lose there ultimately would take more of the subsidy from the tax type funds in order to pay for that service, and we'd rather not do that. We'd rather not send money from the city general fund over to the enterprise funds in order to subsidize them. We'd actually like it to go the other way around, where we have utility profits that we can then subsidize the city with. But right now, no subsidies at all, because we're not charging a sufficient fee. So we've been tracking that one for a while, as you can see on the slide. It's historically, for the last 5 years, been kind of the same way. But a lot of that is because we have that utility, the recreation authority in there that kind of draws without pulling a ton of revenue in. But wastewater is also a concern there, so again, keep your eye on those. The last one that I think I want to mention is the fact that it's on slides 28, 29, 30, and 31. It all relates to one thing, and that is that the city has quite a bit of capacity or sustainability left, because they have not yet pursued an avenue of revenue expense that is available to you if you can get the citizens to go along with it. And that's what we call a general obligation bond issue. In Oklahoma, cities and towns are not allowed to levy a property tax for operations, but we are allowed to levy a property tax to pay off general obligation bond debt. The issue with that is that we can't issue general obligation bond debt unless the people vote for it. And so if you were to package a general obligation bond issue, let's say for streets and other improvements to parks and some quality of life issues, you could sell that to the public where they would approve that. Now you would have all that new infrastructure, and it would not drain any of the current finances that the city has, because we'd now be able to come to a new revenue stream that we don't have access to right now in the form of property tax to pay that off. And then once that gets paid off, the property tax goes away. You have significant capacity, because that's just an avenue that you've not ever pursued. So if you ever do wish to pursue something like that, that capability is there for you. So that's why you score so well. So overall, 7.6, that's kind of really where you need to be. Like I said, the 9s, those are great, but they don't happen very often and don't happen very, very frequently to anyone. But if you can stay in the mid 7s to low 8s, I think that's kind of where you need to operate, and that's probably where you need to focus on. So we'll look again here in another month or so after the June 30, 25 numbers are finalized and audited. We'll be able to produce another one of these that'll show us how 25 look. Don't really know right now where it's at. I kind of see some ratios are up a little and some are kind of down. So we're gonna have to just kind of wait and see what 25 looks at. But so far, so good. You've weathered the COVID storm relatively well. Most Oklahoma governments right now are kind of coming off what I call a COVID high, where we had 3 years of COVID-related people staying home, ordering online, shopping locally, and sales tax was going up because of that. And now kind of seeing that fade away a little bit, along with all that free money that we got over the last few years from the federal government, related to CARES programs and ARPA money that we got to do pretty much anything we wanted with. We've invested that money in infrastructure, we've invested that money in our people, but that money's gone. It's not coming back anytime soon, at least at that magnitude. And so we're kind of coming off a COVID high, and in other governments in Oklahoma that we've seen for this fiscal year that are similar to you, Edmond, Sand Springs, Sapulpa, Broken Arrow, Chickasha, all of their scores are down in June of '24 because of that coming off the COVID high, and you kind of bucked that trend a little bit. In fact, you're one of the few governments I saw where the number went up in June of '24. So I'm not sure if that's a timing issue and that your COVID high come off is gonna be next year or the year we're in right now, but we'll just have to wait and see. But so far, so good. I think we're in pretty good shape with a 7.6 right now. So with that, I'll stop talking and see if you have any questions about it.
Any questions? Thank you.
You bet. I hope that's useful to you. I know it's way
Absolutely.
easier to read than this thing.
Yeah.
Not that I'm slamming that thing, but that thing is tough to read. This one, maybe not so much. So I appreciate it.
We appreciate it too.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back. Mr. Farley, we'll let you speak since you missed it.
Getting old. Y'all, I've got a problem I've been fighting for a year. Have y'all drove around this town and looked at our spark plugs? Have any of you drove around and looked at it?
That's a what?
The spark plugs in this town?
Oh, the fire plug.
They're a disaster. They're 4 or 5 colors, some faded pink. I mean, it's a disaster what this town's got to show. I've asked for a year to get this done, and I was promised it'd be done in a year. It hasn't been done yet. And another thing, it's a dangerous situation. Down in front of the monument company, there's a hole this big. It's a drainage deal. I was told the city can't do nothing about it because it's private property. That hole is starting to eat into the street itself now. The street's starting to crumble on the edge. And somebody's gonna hit that hole and get killed. I've asked the police one day to put a cone in it. He said, I can't do that. Well, can anybody do anything about it? This is all I gotta say, but we got to take and look at these spark plugs. I've been fighting it for a year. I was promised they'd be done in a year, and hadn't been one been touched.
There has also been some touched, sir. Have you looked at them? They have been touched. 27th Street, right down from your house.
What's that?
The plugs have been painted. We're working on them. The ones
On
right
the
there on
block
27th
road?
Street. The ones there on 27th Street. Have you seen them?
27th Street, I know one private person, the person go right painted it wrong.
But the ones on 27th Street, we painted. And then we painted the ones going down Rock Island, down to Elm Street. And they were out yesterday.
Most of them Rock Island, the new plugs, they're painted.
Okay, from Elm Street to the south.
But you get into the residential area,
We're getting over 1,000 plugs.
it's terrible, they're rusted.
Understand, we're working on it.
That's all I gotta say is, but this is nailed down in front of the monument company, that hole has gotta be fixed. City says it's not their responsibility, they say it's not their responsibility. So I don't know whose responsibility it is, but somebody's gonna get hurt. And it's gonna be on y'all's back if you don't get it straightened out. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Brings us to 18A, to hold a public hearing regarding the proposed annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. Discussion and development resulting in amendments to the proposed budget may occur. I now declare the public hearing open.
Okay, so this, what I'm about to say may be in conflict somewhat from what Mr. Crawford had to say. But the period that he was looking at was from 23 to 24. So I'm going to be talking about 24 to 25. So we had a very good year, a lot of accomplishments. We built a lot of new infrastructure. We replaced a lot of water lines, repaved roads. opened up the filling station. We had a good fiscal year. We had a lot of public projects completed, started and completed. And on the private side, there's a lot of private investment in our town. A lot of new businesses opened, a lot of new restaurants, The Shed, Brahms, Casey's General Store, in industry, Liberty Energy. We had a lot of private investment, a lot of activity in our town, which is good to see. What has not happened, what we would like to see is more revenue on sales tax. It's been down. Sales tax has been down this entire year. We didn't meet expectations. It's down around 9% as of the close of this fiscal year. And use tax has been up about 10%, which is good to see. But because of that, our budget forecast for FY26, we are projecting a 5.6% decrease from FY25. So we're projecting a budget of $15,516,000. So really no revenue growth. We're approaching this next year very cautiously with what we've been seeing. There has been some energy, there has been investment, there has been activity, but we are very conservative with our approach for this coming year. There is housing growth. We've been meeting with, there's developers that are building new homes in the newly annexed areas. There's new homes going up in the pre-annexed areas. So we're going to continue to see some housing growth, which is a good sign. There's also additional commercial and industrial development happening. We had the plat for Redlands Community College that was approved on the consent agenda, the final plat. So there is some additional interest and demand for commercial growth. But with this coming budget, other funds, like the Municipal Authority and others, will continue to support the general fund for operations. Let's see here. So there is what we're facing: increase in sales tax, debt service, and utility debt service. Our operations budget has increased. Even though we are approaching this very cautiously, our operations budget has gone up about 7.8%. We're adding a new enterprise to city government, which is our new ambulance service. We've added a few new positions to help fill gaps that we have been dealing with over the last several years, including in human resources, community development, and then also adding some resources to streets. We're recommending a cost of living adjustment of 3% to all of the city employees. With that, we will be utilizing, with the entire budget, we will be utilizing about $1.3 million in reserves to present a balanced budget for operations. We've already discussed rates. We've got to continue to adjust our rates to keep up with the cost of doing business, but also the cost of servicing our debt. Right, that's one thing that we will be experiencing significantly over the next several years with our sewer plant. So we're going to have to continue to adjust those, review them, and keep moving them in the direction to cover our cost. So we already discussed with the previous item on the Municipal Authority the 7% increase in water and sewer rates beginning January 2026, and then the trash rate increase at $2 per account per month beginning in July 2025, and that is for the renegotiated trash contract. So overall, we have a general fund budget. We're proposing a general fund budget of $19.3 million, roughly. Municipal Authority of $11.1 with a $3.4 million transfer to the general fund. Hotel motel tax of roughly $300,000 with a $218,000 transfer into the general fund. The Airport Authority around $780,000 with a $60,000 transfer to the general fund, and then the Recreational Authority about $1.3 million. Okay, and I'm going to pass it over to Tim to talk trends in revenue.
Okay. Yes, we received our sales tax last week after we had our workshop meeting. This will be part of our financial report right now. Sales tax for the month of June came in at $905,419.33. So that is a good almost $200,000 off what our monthly target is right there. However, we had a great May check, and calling the tax commission this morning, we're able to go verify that the reason why the number is down is because there was a refund due to overpayment that occurred in the month of May right there. But collectively said, for the entire fiscal year, we are down 8.73% in sales tax. Bright side, use tax, we are up for the year 10.65%. We brought in $244,271.68, which is almost $50,000 above our monthly target right there. So that definitely helps make up for the shortfall we had with sales tax. On the hotel motel tax, which we're doing, I'll have a slide up there here in a minute. It came in at $40,484.90, which is about $2,500 above budget right there. So we're hitting that relatively strong also. On the graph up there, we can see that the trend line for sales tax unfortunately has gone down some. Use tax has managed to stay just a little above in the positive side. When we adjust it though for inflation, it smooths it out a little because inflation does continue to be somewhat of a problem over there. But overall, we're not terrible right there. On this next slide over there, I just want to go show the bright red line is showing our trend line for the current fiscal year. All the other lines show what typically happens. The month of June is historically our lowest month of the year for sales tax. So even though we are down compared to other months, it's not completely unexpected right there.
If you look at the green, blue, and red line, they all in June roughly together. Right. So it's interesting to see that, how they all dive down. So we are, this is on trend, unfortunately, to have it down June.
Right. So that's the budget.
Yep. We've got a lot of good things happening, a lot of momentum, but I think that moving forward into this next fiscal year, we are approaching it very conservatively.
Any questions? Any other comments while we're in public hearing? Well, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Brings us to item B, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding approval of resolution number 25-042, resolution adopting annual budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, ending June 30th, 2026. Maintaining certain special funds, filing of the adopted budget with intergovernmental agencies, and providing for transfer of funds.
Move to approve resolution 25-042.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us item 19, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding request by Matthew Graham for a variance to the paving requirements of the subdivision regulation 312-39B for properties described as lots 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, Block 1 of Wildwood Lake, Second Edition, and part of the southwest quarter of Section 30, Township 13, Range 6, West Indian Meridian, Canadian County, Oklahoma, located east of the corner of Blue Jay Way and Quail Drive.
I've got some printouts, just kind of what I was planning.
I think we've got a copy of those. But you're welcome to pass them out.
Would anybody like one?
I'm sure.
So this has a picture of the easement, kind of what my intentions are, and I've got the plat, the survey, the revision to the plat.
I have one, yeah, thank you, yep.
Would you like one?
Oh, you're good.
Alright. My name is Matthew Graham. I'm a property owner at Quail and Blue Jay in the Wildwood Lake Edition. I'm here to request permission to build a gravel driveway on the unused road easement on my property. According to the plat, the property title, and the survey, which I handed out copies of, the easement in question is designated as a private road that's supposed to be maintained by the surrounding property owners. It was originally intended as part of a roadway, but it has remained unused and unimproved. I'm looking to use part of the easement as a driveway access so I can begin construction on my property in a safe and accessible manner. My intention is to install a gravel drive that will not interfere with public infrastructure, utilities, neighboring properties. This proposed use aligns with the easement's access purpose. It does not impede traffic or city planning goals. I intend to make sure that all work complies with city requirements, and I'm happy to coordinate with planning staff as needed to maintain transparency and cooperation. And thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, thank you.
I think Emily's going to come up and talk about it this went to Planning Commission, and
Okay.
Emily's going to talk a little bit about it.
As Mr. Graham said, he's kind of at a unique situation here. Can you?
We can hear it.
Okay. So that he owns the two properties and it's separated by a private drive that's public right of way. Originally, he requested to vacate the road and staff advised that we wouldn't recommend approval of that. So after discussion, he decided to ask for a variance for the subdivision regs to use gravel instead of our typical paving standard. Staff recommended approval of that, as did the Planning Commission. We just want to reiterate that this item is for the allowance of the gravel. However, he'll still have to go through the permitting process and meet any emergency service and all applicable code things. But other than that, we recommend approval, and that it doesn't waive the right for the city in the future to use the road if needed, and the applicant is aware of that.
Right. And it passed Planning Commission?
Yes, 4-0.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
I would like to point out, and Matt, we talked to you about Chief Duff and the fire department and the fire marshal we want to make sure that any trucks could get down, built to a standard to handle a truck. So take a look at that, yeah.
I passed it on to the fire marshal, so he's already aware.
Oh, he's
so.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
So this will be considered a private road or a driveway?
Probably be permitted as a.
It'll be a driveway on a roadway easement.
So it'll have to meet the roadway standards or the driveway standards,
So
or no standards?
that's where the variance being requested is a variance from the subdivision regulations that would require concrete and or asphalt and built to a certain standard, but it would be, all the streets within the Wildwood neighborhood are private streets already, and so this would be public easement, but a driveway on public easement. But the public easement would remain open in case it needed to be rebuilt or connected to in the future on the other side.
And that would become the subdivision's problem. I mean, they'd have to do that,
This
because it's
is
still a private road.
still a private road.
Okay.
Yes.
It's maintained privately.
Yes, maintained privately.
Okay.
But not gated or shut off in any way.
It would have to be accessible for emergency services. Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to approve subdivision regulation 312-39B,
And it variance from.
Variance from it.
a variance for that, for the paving requirements for the subdivision regulations.
I'll second.
Motion made, seconded, roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Leathery?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us item 20. Discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding ordinance number 9377, ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of El Reno, Oklahoma adding a new article to Chapter 31, authorizing the creation of the Emergency Medical Services Department, adding a new chapter adopting regulations for the operation of emergency medical services, amending and repealing conflicting sections, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency. Discussion.
This is the ordinance to create our new Emergency Medical Services Department and to begin service July 1, 2025. So the emergency would be necessary to declare.
Move to approve ordinance 9377.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Move to declare ordinance 9377 an emergency.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nether?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 21, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding ordinance 9378, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, El Reno, Oklahoma, recodifying Chapter 264, Sections 8 through 9 into Chapter 306, recodifying Chapter 264, Section 10 into Chapter 306, and amending regulations for street cuts, curb cuts, paving cuts, trenching, boring, adding a new Article 2 to Chapter 306, adopting regulations for rights of way, occupancy management, including construction permits, construction permit expiration and renewal, emergency permits, engineering, construction, location standards, establishing no limits on liability, appeals, exemptions, enforcement, penalties, amending and repealing conflicting sections, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency.
I'm sorry, could you read that again?
Here's who wrote that.
Which chapter was that?
We've experienced a tremendous amount of pressure within our right-of-ways from contractors building in our right-of-ways, installing infrastructure, installing utilities, sometimes on top of one another. And so this will actually formalize our right-of-way permitting process. It'll allow additional oversight for the city over contractors and working within our right-of-way. It's an additional tool in our toolbox that we need because of the amount of activity that's happening out there. So, yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, who's going to monitor that? Code enforcement, police, fire? You?
Streets.
It'll be all of us.
Community Development Department.
Yeah. It'll have to come through the permitting process through community development if they're working in the right of way. Now, if they are a franchise, if they are OG&E or those, they will still need to be coordinating with us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Move to approve ordinance 9378.
Motion made and seconded to approve ordinance 9378. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nether?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Make a motion to declare ordinance 9378 an emergency.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to declare an emergency. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us to item 22, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding ordinance 9379, ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, El Reno, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 93, Section 2 regarding authority to make purchases and payment of claims, amending Chapter 93, Section 3 regarding transfer of funds, amending and repealing conflicting sections, and providing for severability. Discussion.
This is a purchasing ordinance that will meet the minimum requirements of state law. But it's also an effort to continue strengthening our internal controls. It'll clarify the purchase order process and allow for exemptions for routine items such as utilities and debt service. Those are things that we've done routinely for many years, but this formalizes it in ordinance so that those things that we have been doing, we'll actually be doing according to our own law and state law. So, anything else, Tim?
No, that was perfect.
Any other questions?
Move to approve ordinance 9379.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve ordinance 9379. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nethery?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 23, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding Resolution 25-043, resolution establishing fees and costs charged by the City of El Reno for emergency services.
These are our new ambulance fees, the fee schedule. This mirrors Oklahoma City's fees for their ambulance service. So we will be in line with the region.
Any questions?
Move to approve resolution 25043.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 25043. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nethery?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 24. Discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding resolution number 25-044, resolution of the City Council of El Reno supporting the Iron Bison to be constructed in Adams Park.
So this is in accordance with the Adams Park Master Plan, or it's in line with Adams Park Master Plan, but also artist Nathan Pratt presented last month his proposed Iron Bison. This is a resolution of support that would, it's not binding, financially binding, and it even allows for some flexibility for where the sculpture can be placed within Adams Park, but it does provide that next step of support that he will need to go and do fundraising. And so this, the location that we discussed was at the intersection of Country Club and Sunset Drive there in that, it'd be that southwest corner was what was discussed and laid out in the Adams Park plan.
Any questions?
Move to approve resolution number 25-044.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilman Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nethery?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us to item 25, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding contract with Youth and Family Services for fiscal year 24-25.
This is our routine annual contract with Youth and Family Services for $3,000. It's for this fiscal year.
Move to approve contract as stated.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us to reports. Well, we had a really busy weekend, a small town weekend. Last weekend, I talked to the El Reno Cruisers, and just a special thank you to them and the city staff, police department, fire, emergency services, streets, public works, everybody really pitched in and worked hard to pull off a successful event. Gene's wife, registered the cars, had nearly 500 cars registered for the car show and cruise. You know, Saturday started out really wet. They didn't know what kind of who was coming, but the people showed up. And if you were around Saturday night for the cruise, there were a lot of people up and down Sunset, and it even carried into Sunday at the drag races and stuff, and all that went really well. And I think people had a really good time. We got a letter from the Oklahoma Association of Conservation Districts, just wanting to say thank you for helping sponsor the National Land Judging Contest that went on a few weeks ago here in El Reno, and they had a record-breaking event this year with 776 student contestants, 311 coaches, 199 teams from 34 states, all converged on El Reno and spent the week judging land, and these are high school kids, but they participate in land judging, home site judging, and range, range management judging. And it's a big event, and they like the location here. They could pick other places around the country, but they like location. We're centrally located, and they're planning on coming back next year. And roundabout's partially open, so if you haven't been out and gone around it, got stuck on it. Amy, they said you were stuck in traffic.
I pulled a Chevy Chase last night and went around several times. It was fun.
Well, it's I don't know, it's exciting. People aren't used to those. They're yield signs up there, not stop signs. You're just, supposed to keep driving, but they're gonna have to learn. But with that, be patient with everybody going around that. I mean, harvest is starting, wheat harvest. So there's gonna be a lot of trucks, a lot of truck traffic. So just be patient with the farmers and equipment, and just be safe out there. So anyway, we've had quite a bit of rain. The lake's full. So anyway, that's all I have. Anybody else?
Well, on the roundabout, I appreciate ODOT. They said it would never be closed, and I doubted that because of the transformation. But sure enough, it never was closed. You'd go to work and come back, and there'd be a lane switch, but it stayed open the whole time, and now it's a circle.
Yeah, it's good. Pete?
I have nothing.
Matt?
July 1, we got ambulance service starting, so big day's coming. I know Ed Fowler and Sean Hoffman, y'all been working your tails off on the hiring process and getting it ramped up. And I know that we have a lot of work to do, but I think we're going to be prepared for it. Also, HR, Kimmy Brookshire has been working quite a bit also as we staff up for the service. So certainly exciting times are coming for El Reno with the launch of our new ambulance service. So that's all I have.
Okay. Tim?
Okay, yeah. Got a slide we put up here on broadband. As he puts it up there, we're pleased to announce that since our last council meeting, we've had 53 new subscribers, which is an increase of over 11%. That puts us at 495 customers, and we're on track to be over 500 by the end of the week. Great. So that's definitely an exciting milestone. And here on the last slide, we'll go discuss a quick little revamp of the fiber packages that are already on the website. The next slide, we are now live in the North Reformatory Road, Skyview Drive area. So we continue to expand over there. Next slide. We are in the process of blowing fiber along Evans and Foreman, getting ready to get the county offices connected over there. And that'll also get the city offices also connected. So again, that's great. And also want to remind everybody that was partially funded with $150,000 of ARPA money that the county gave us to help serve that. So again, we're definitely appreciative of them investing in our system right there. This last slide, this shows the new fiber package revamp. We have changed the names. The prices are the same, but just changing the names, trying to let people know what each package actually does when you sign up for the package right there. Okay. So we got the Easy Stream package, the Family Friendly package, and the Digital Guru package. So I like to think that everybody's gonna be a digital guru, right? So that's what we have.
All right, thank you.
If you don't have fiber, you're missing out. I switched from Cox to fiber, and no issues, no problems, fast speed. It just, the putting it in, I was gonna make a motion to change the name to Slow Fiber or Slow Connect, but we managed to get it done, so good job, fiber.
Bring it to item J, executive session.
Move that we adjourn into executive session.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, roll call, starting Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stopperfin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Take a motion to come out of executive session?
Motion made and seconded to come out of executive session. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Move to approve the labor agreement between the City of El Reno and the Fraternal Order Police Lodge 151 for fiscal year 25 to 26, including the attached memorandum of understanding.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Netter?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Move to approve the labor agreement between the City of El Reno and the International Association of Firefighters Local 2367 for fiscal year 25-26 with the attached memorandum of understanding.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
You want to just find anything? Ma'am. I got your file right here. Steve, I got two more for you.
More?